Hello everybody, it's Brenda. I am here today with another episode of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. We're on chapter 15. Awesome. Okay. Be the first one to act loving. Reach out. So many of us hold on to the little remnants that may have stemmed from an argument or a misunderstanding, the way we were raised, some other painful event. Stubbornly, we wait for someone else to reach out to us, believing this is the only way we can forgive or rekindle a friendship or a family relationship. An acquaintance of mine whose health isn't very good recently told me that she hasn't spoken to her son in almost 3 years. And I said, why not? She said that she and her son had a disagreement about his wife and that she wouldn't speak to him again unless he called first. When I suggested she be the one to reach out, she resisted and said, I can't do that. He's the one who should apologize. She was literally willing to die before reaching out to her son. After a little gentle encouragement, however, she did decide to be the first one to reach out. To her amazement, her son was grateful for her willingness to call and offered an apology, or he offered apology of his own. As is usually the case when someone takes the chance and reaches out, everyone wins. When we hold on to our anger, we turn small stuff into really big stuff in our minds. We start to believe that our positions are more important than our happiness. Then, are they or not? If you want to be a more peaceful person, you must understand that being right is almost never important than allowing yourself to be happy. The way to be happy is to let go and reach out. Let other people be right. This doesn't mean that you're wrong. Everything will be fine. You'll experience the peace of letting go as well as the joy of letting go. Let others be right. You'll also notice that as you reach out and let others be right, they will become more defensive and more loving towards you. They might even reach back, but if for some reason they don't, that's okay too. You'll have the inner satisfaction of knowing that you have done your part to create a more loving world, and certainly you'll be more peaceful yourself. Okay, now we have asked yourself this question. Will this matter a year from now? Almost every day I play a game with myself that's called Time Warp. I made it up in response to my constant arrogance belief that what I was all worked up about was that really important. To play Time Warp, all you have to do is imagine that whatever the circumstances you're dealing with isn't happening right now, but a year from now. Then simply ask yourself, is this situation really as important as I'm making it out to be? Once in a great while it may be, but a vast majority of the time it simply isn't. Whether it be an argument with your spouse, child, or boss, a mistake, a lost opportunity, a lost wallet, a work-related rejection, or sprained ankle, chances are from now on you aren't going to care. It will be one more irrelevant detail in your life. While this simple game won't solve all your problems, it can give you an enormous amount of needed perspective. I find myself laughing at things that I used to take far too seriously. Now, rather than using up my energy feeling angry and overwhelmed, I can use it instead spending time with my wife and children or engaging in some creative thinking. Awesome, awesome, awesome advice. Surrender to the fact that life isn't fair. That is true. A friend of mine, in response to a conversation we are having about the injustices of life, asked me this important question: who said life was going to be fair, or that was even meant to be fair? Her question was a good one. It reminded me of something I was taught as a youngster. Life isn't fair. It's a bummer, but it's absolutely true. Ironically, recognizing this sober fact can be a very liberating insight. One of the mistakes many of us make is that we feel sorry for ourselves or for others, thinking that life should be fair or that someday it will be. It's not, and it won't. When we make this mistake, we tend to spend a lot of time wallowing and complaining about what's wrong with life. We compensate with others, discussing the injustices of life. It's not fair. We complain, not realizing that perhaps it was never intended to be. One of the nice things about surrendering to the fact that life isn't fair, it keeps us from feeling sorry for ourselves by encouraging us to do the very best that we can with what we have. We know it's not life's job to make everything perfect. It's our own challenge. Surrounding or surrendering to this fact also keeps us from feeling sorry for others, because we are reminded that everyone is dealt a different hand and everyone has a unique strengths and challenges. This insight has helped me to deal with the problems of raising two children, the difficult decisions I've had to make about who to help and who I can help, as well as with my own personal struggles during those times that I have felt victimized and or unfairly treated. It almost always wakes me up to reality and puts me back on track. The fact that life isn't fair doesn't mean we shouldn't do everything in our power to improve our own lives or the world as a whole. To the contrary, it suggests that we should when we don't recognize or admit that life isn't fair, we tend to feel pity for others and for ourselves. Pity, of course, is a self-defeating emotion that does nothing for anyone except to make everyone feel worse than they already do. When we do recognize that life isn't fair, however, we feel compassion for others and ourselves, and a compassion in a heartfelt emotion that delivers loving kindness to everyone it touches. The next time you find yourself thinking about injustices of the world, try reminding yourself of this very basic fact. You may be surprised that it can nudge you out of self-pity and into helpful action. Allow yourself to be bored. For many of us, life is filled with stimulation, not to mention responsibilities that it's almost impossible for us to sit still and do nothing, much less relax, even for a few minutes. A friend of mine said to me, people are no longer human beings. We should be called human doings. I was first exposed to this idea that occasional boredom can actually be good for me while studying with my therapist in Lacona, Washington, a tiny little town with very little to do. After finishing our first day together, I asked my instructor, what is there to do around here at night? He responded by saying, what I'd like you to do is allow yourself to be bored. Do nothing. This is part of your training. At first, I thought he was kidding. Why on earth would I choose to be bored? I asked. He went on to explain that if you allow yourself to be bored, even for an hour or less, and don't fight the feelings of boredom, you will be replaced with feelings of peace. And after a little practice, you'll learn to relax. Much to my surprise, he was absolutely right. At first, I could barely stand it. I was so used to doing something every second that I really struggled to relax. But after a while, I got used to it and have long since learned to enjoy it. I'm not talking about hours of idle time or laziness, but simply learning the art of relaxing, or just being rather than doing for a few minutes each day. There isn't a specific technique other than consciously do nothing. Just sit still, perhaps look at the window and notice your thoughts and feelings. At first you may get a little anxious, but each day it will get a little easier. The payback is tremendous. Much of our anxiety and inner struggle stems from our busy, overactive minds always needing something to entertain them, something to focus on, and always wondering what to do next. While we're eating dinner, we're wondering what's for dessert. While we're eating dessert, we ponder what should we do afterward. After the evening, it's what should we do this weekend. After you've been out, we walk into the house and immediately turn on the television, pick up the phone, open a book, or start cleaning. It's almost as though we're frightened at the thought of having something to do, even for a minute. The beauty of doing nothing is that it teaches you to clear your mind and relax. It allows you to mind the freedom to not know for a brief period of time. Just like your body, your mind needs an occasional break from the hectic routine. When you allow your mind to take a break, it comes back stronger and sharper, more focused and creative. When you allow yourself to be bored, it takes an enormous amount of pressure off you to be performing and doing something every second of every day. Now, when either of my two children says to me, "Daddy, I'm bored," I respond by saying, Great, be bored for a while. It's good for you. Once I say this, they always give up on the idea of me solving their problems. You probably never thought someone would actually suggest that you allow yourself to be bored. I guess there's a first time for everything. So there you go. That is my reading for Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And it's all small stuff. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, bye.